You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome along to the show. I was hoping you could just sort of introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your club.
Hello, yes. My name's Adam Kenyon. I'm the archery coach and lead at Sittingbourne Community College Archers. It's a junior archery club based at, obviously, Sittingbourne Community College. We've been running for about 8 years, specifically designed to support young people and give them the opportunity to learn how to shoot bows and arrows and get into the archery sport itself.
Now, I understand that you've won a particular competition, I think, for the second time, so second year. So tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, within the archery structure itself, Archery GB, the national body, created a group that are called the On Target Clubs. It's a formation of all the clubs, and they can get together, pass information and pass systems out. This year, for the second year in a row, we at Sittingbourne Community College Archers won the top junior archery club of the year. So of all the clubs in the country, which is about 187 junior clubs, we were voted the best ones there were, which is brilliant.
And I know you next wanted to talk about sports for all.
Yeah. The idea of archery is it's a sport for all in a strange way. You can have two left feet. You're not going to be running around for all you're worth. So it's quite a sport for people who feel that is the way they want to go. You shoot as an individual, you learn as an individual. But that said, it's still very social in the grouping and the way you are within the team. Now, Sittingbourne Community College Archers and SCC, we developed the club specifically to help our young people learn communication skills, interaction skills, speaking with people they don't know. Again, being with people that are strangers but still able to converse and move forward. I mean, it's really, really important for young people developing nowadays. The interactions between different groups is so important.
I was wondering, how are you funded?
Well, we were very lucky. When we first set up 8 years ago, the head teacher at the time was Alan Barham. Lovely gentleman, quite forward thinking as well. I joined the school, I asked him about an archery club, and he said, yep, okay, I'll give you a small budget, do what you can. And from that point onwards, that's how we've worked. The school, with progressive head teachers, have come along and said, yes, we'll give you a small budget. And then from there, I've looked toward available funding that's around there for all clubs, both sports clubs and non-physical clubs, to tap into. And I'm quite lucky in that sense that I will look at them and I will pick the right ones out. And so far, the club has survived on different funding opportunities that we've had, donations. We get lots of support from around the communities themselves. I mean, Sinkport's mobility helps support the para archers that we have. W.W. Martin, they're just starting some major work at the school. So I grab hold of the contractor and say, excuse me, Darren, are you interested in supporting archery? And, well, what's that about? Explain it. Yeah, we might be interested in doing that. So it's all about, from my side, just taking that risk and asking, because nowadays, if you don't ask, you're not going to get.
So how does equipment work when people start the club?
Oh, right. Well, equipment is basically a big thing with archery. It sounds silly, but it is probably one of the major areas. Lots of people are put off from getting involved in archery because they think of the expenditure to buy the kit and so on. Again, with the Sittingbourne Community College Archers, what we do is we have a package. So when a new archer joins the club, we will lend them the equipment to start with. So we will lend them a training bow, train them, and then as they get better, improve their equipment all the way through. So there's no actual expenditure for our juniors at all. What I've done over the 8 years is build a store and a reservoir of equipment of different strengths and qualities and abilities, so we can actually feed pretty well everybody that we need to. I mean, as an example, if you were to join us as a junior, we would teach you to shoot with a training bow. You'd do that for a couple of terms, and then if you said, yes, I'm really, really keen, I like this, I'll say, well, do you want to stay with the bow you've got, or would you like to try longbow or all the different forms of archery that there are? And if you said, well, I'd like to try longbow, I will then either have one in the store or beg, borrow, steal, or find funding to buy another bow that would become your bow whilst you're with the club. So nobody else uses their equipment. So once they get to the stage, one point, that's it. That's their equipment for the rest of the time they're with us.
At the moment, we are talking all about the Sittingbourne Community College Archers. We're talking to Adam all about that, and I was hoping you could tell listeners a bit more about the different types of archery and the types of archery you do at the club. Yeah,
well, the club itself, we cover all forms of archery in the stance of bow types. Lots of people will have seen the Olympics, and you'll have seen what's called an Olympic recurve. So that's the bow with a stabiliser at the front and the sides. Looks very, very complicated, but actually it isn't. It's a basic structure that's been around since 500 BC, when the Assyrians used that bow style on the back of a chariot. So what the club does is the club will teach young people to shoot bare bow using the recurve style. So it's a bare bow recurve, so there's no sights, nothing on it, it's totally intuitive. Then from there, you've got the options. You can go completely to the bottom of the scale and shoot longbow, good old Robin Hood, so people say, or you go up the scales to the Olympic bow, so you stick on stabilisers and other bits and bobs to your normal bow, or you then go completely space age and shoot compound, which uses cams and cables and release aids and magnifying scopes, almost like shooting a gun, but not shooting a gun. Now the club is lucky enough to have top end coaches and archers within all of the disciplines, so we can actually support our students to a greater level than most clubs. We have our specialist compound archers who will support the archers. One on the island, young Philpott, he's now sponsored by a bow manufacturer called Pearson's. His brother, you have Bradley and Jake Philpott, and their brother Owen. The three of them together now shoot for the club. They're all at SCC. Bradley shoots the Olympic bow, Jake shoots the compound, and being sponsored by a shop and a bow manufacturer, Owen is now starting to move through to the same as his eldest brother Bradley, but they've got every opportunity to do that, and that's what the club's there for. So as you learn, you get the opportunity to try different styles, and that's really, really important.
I think you want to talk a little bit about the Junior National Championships next.
Yeah, SCC or SCCA have always turned out a good team. I mean, we started off with all of our archers. The original 6 that we started with went to the National Championships. We now have 46 members, and this year we're taking 23 of them to Lilleshall in Shropshire for the National Championships. It's a really good weekend for the kids. It's an opportunity. It's an experience, and an experience that they can actually take with them. One of the things I say to them is, on a CV, when you're getting nowadays to get past a CV sift or a job application sift, you need something that stands out. And if you could imagine an employer reading on a CV sift, attended national championships, it immediately makes you stop and think. Now, I mean, this year we're taking, as I say, 23. It's a bit of an early start in the morning on the Saturday. We leave the school at 1:30 in the morning. We'll get to Lilleshall by about 6 o'clock. They'll pitch a tent, I'll cook them a bacon sandwich, and they'll be shooting from 9 o'clock until 5. Then they'll have something to eat, run around like idiots as usual, as young people do, till about 9, 10 o'clock, and then they're in the tents. And then the following morning, up again at 7, breakfast, they're on the shooting line again from 9 until about 5. We're back in the minibus at 5:30, 5:45, and we're back at Sittingbourne for midnight. And they're all back at school on Monday morning, which is brilliant. And it's good for them, and it's good for us. It's a great weekend. They get to meet lots and lots of different people, interact again with lots of different people. But as has always been said, the students of the school fly the flag for good behaviour, are amazing ambassadors, certainly for Kent, and amazing ambassadors for Swale. We're not in the most auspicious part of the county, and we're not even the most auspicious part of the country, but everybody knows the behaviour of our archers is exemplary, and I think that is brilliant above all other things.
Now, I was hoping you could tell us a bit about the Kent Para Archers Championship.
Yeah, SCC has hosted this competition now for the last 5 years. Within the country, there are only 3 para championships specifically dedicated for para archers. It's for me, it's one of the areas that needs to be looked at, but has to be done properly. Now, we host the county championships. It's being held at the school on the 22nd of July this year, so it's a Saturday. Anyone who wants to pop along, they can come and see some of the best para archers in the country. Unfortunately, this year we were hoping to have a couple of the Olympic squad come down, but they're off out of the country shooting at the moment, so they won't be able to. But this year, on the flip side of the good side of it, Archery GB and the governing body have decided that they're going to run a national para archery championships, following near enough the same format that we run, allowing archers who are certificated with a disability and those that aren't, or are awaiting classification within that structure. Now, normally they wouldn't be allowed to shoot. Normally they would have to wait, and that would be that. But now Archery GB are saying, look, let's have a look at these archers, let's see what's there, let's see if we can help. So what we're doing is we're actually feeding them as well. So the school, and certainly the Swale area, is driving forward para archery within the country and supporting our archers, certainly for the Olympics. I mean, this year, as has been on a number of years, we're being supported by Clickers Archery, an archery retailer, and Sinkport's Mobility, who always come down, always helpful, always supportive, trying to help us create the best possible atmosphere and the most supportive idea for para archery. A thing I would say to anybody out there listening, anybody can shoot a bow. If you want to try, that's the thing. If you want to come down, you can contact through Kent Archery Association. If you go on their website, you'll find all the clubs that are around the county for archers to get involved with. So if you want to try it, there's no reason you shouldn't try it. Yeah, the club, or we have done a lot of work for para archers, and we're always supporting and helpful. And if you come along and there is a way we can do it, we will get you shooting a bow. And I have to be honest, so far we've not come across anyone that we failed with. So, you know, para archers out there, start coming forward.
I was just wondering if people would like to find out more. How can they do that?
Well, to get into it, the simplest thing would be look on the Kent Archery Association website. On there we'll give them lots of information about what's going on in Kent and things that are happening. In there is also what's called a club finder section. So all it will ask you is your area, and then it will identify the clubs in your area. So that would be the initial starting point. Obviously, the deeper you want to go into it, you've got the Archery GB website. So that will give you all the national information that's going on, all the up-to-date news with the Olympic teams and the World Cup squads that are around the country and around the world, as is now. So that would be the initial contact point. And then from there, you would look to develop and move in whatever direction you wanted to. Certainly for us as a club, our junior section has to remain specifically for students from the school, because the ruling within Archery GB is that we are a school club, so our junior section can only be juniors from the school. We sort of work with that so that in the senior section we have juniors who don't come from the school, so we actually bring archers in from wherever, whenever we can fit people in, and everyone runs in the same program and the same sort of structure. We will support anybody and give anybody the best opportunity we can, because really and truly, for myself as an individual, I've learnt so much and grown so much as a person through archery, and the ability that I've been given to coach and develop and pass on that enthusiasm. I've watched students start in year 7 and go all the way through to the age of 18 shooting and developing as people, and it's an amazing thing to see. It's amazing to watch seniors who never thought in a month of Sundays that they could shoot or they would be able to pick up a bow, and you say to them, come on, and within a very, very short space of time they're really, really embracing the whole idea. The classic is that when an archer first starts, they're happy to hit the target, but within a matter of weeks, hitting the target isn't enough. They want all of the arrows on the target, and then all of a sudden after that, it's not all of the arrows on the target, it's the higher in the score. So it's a it's a progression that works so beautifully within the development of young people, and the re-enthusiasm of adults, because it gives you something that you can focus on without any running around, without any need for amazing physical prowess. It's purely down to a repetitive, structured system which works so beautifully. I mean, we have to, as a club, thank lots of people for supporting us to get us to where we are, and for getting me or myself and all the seniors and the coaches the enjoyment we have. I mean, the school, without a question, Mrs. Trigwell, big flag fly there, supporting the club, helping the club, taking us forward. We've got separate sponsors, as I've said before. We've got Clickers Archery, we've got WW Martin, Cinque Ports Mobility. All of these places, without them as a club, we wouldn't succeed. And lots of people don't see the work on the background. I mean, for BRFM, I think it's probably the same sort of idea. You're supported in lots of different ways, and people don't see that. But I'm sort of here flying the flag for all those behind the scenes for us. Thank you very much. Without you, we wouldn't have won the Junior on Target Awards. Without you, we wouldn't be taking 23 amazing students to the national championships, and we wouldn't be one of 3 clubs in the whole of the country who is accredited by Archery GB to coach young people. And for us, that's amazing. A secondary school run through as an academy, in comparison to two other schools that are privately run. We're there. Polish the badge, as it were.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out to join us here at the Monday Night Community Show and tell us all about what you do at the Sittingbourne Community College Archers.
Thank you very much.
That was us talking all about the Sittingbourne Community College Archers here at the Monday Night Community Show on BRFM.